yes, when I hear about the Tendai, I hear about this person, this monk. His name is Reverend Saicho.
Mm-hmm.
Who is Saicho?
Well, Saicho, whose posthumous name is Dengyo Daishi, was given by the emperor. Saicho, as I said, was the founder of Tendai Buddhism in 804. And he was as a young person, he was ordained at Todaiji in Nara at the age of 19. And he made a name for himself because of his scholarship, his ability to debate, his devotion, his practices, etc., and especially his ability for meditation. And so a very short version of this is that Emperor Kamu sent him to China with a delegation, a Japanese delegation, along with Kukai, the founder of Shingon Buddhism, to China, specifically to bring back the teachings of the Lotus Sutra. The Lotus Sutra had already been introduced in Japan, but there were more materials available that were not available in Japan. So he was sent specifically to bring back further Lotus teachings, to bring back new teachings of meditation, and specifically to be ordained in Mikyo or esoteric practices, because Emperor Kamu had learned from the Chinese that this was a very powerful way to protect the nation. And so in 804, he went and came back, and it did all that he was supposed to do. And he founded Tendai Shu. And Tendai Shu, when we say he went to obtain materials for Lotus Sutra, that also meant that he would be obtaining materials from Chinese Tiantai Buddhism. And Tiantai was the form of Buddhism. Tendai is the same character as Tiantai. It's just pronounced a Japanese way instead of a Chinese way. And so what effectively Saicho had done is he had brought those things back, and at the same time he had transformed and systematized Buddhism. And I'm going to make reference here to Zhuyi in Chinese, or Qigyi in Japanese, the founder of, in English we pronounce it Ji. He was the founder of Tiantai Buddhism in the 6th century. And his teachings became the philosophical basis for Tendai. So we have to keep that in mind. Well, Saicho was responsible for that. Now, Tiantai was known in Japan before that, but it wasn't practiced. Meditation had been done, but not really very well. Lotus Sutra was known. Prince Shotoku did commentary on the Lotus Sutra, so we know that goes back to 6th century Japan, but the teachings of it were not really fully developed. And Mikyo had been introduced in some very preliminary ways, but was not fully formed yet. So Saicho was really responsible. And I want to use a quote, so if you'll excuse me reading for a moment, a quote from Saicho that tells a great deal about Saicho, but also a great deal about Tendai. And that is, and here's the quote: "Students shall be appointed to positions in keeping with their achievements. After 12 years training and study, those who are capable in both action and speech shall remain permanently on the mountain as leaders of the order. These are the treasures of the nation. Those who are capable in speech but not in action shall be teachers of the nation, and those capable in action but not in speech shall be the functionaries of the nation." And by functionaries, it meant we'll do things like building bridges and dams and serving administrative positions. And that says a great deal about Saicho, because he viewed Buddhism as not just something for the individual, for me as an individual to achieve nirvana, or to attain presence in the Pure Land. But for each of us who are clergy, who are priests, monks, nuns, who go out, should be people who are able to work with other people, not just attain awakening for themselves. That was really an amazing concept in Japanese Buddhism at that time. So he set the stage, Saicho, set the stage for Tendai that developed in Japan, and then ultimately set the stage for all the other schools that came out of Tendai in many ways. So I think that, you know, I could talk about the other great leaders in Tendai, such as Anin and Enshin and Jichin and Gyoko, etc. And each of them had a place, but we look at Saicho as being an exemplar because he was very humble, he was very disciplined, he was a scholar. He wasn't as flamboyant as, let's say, Kukai, but he was more down to earth and really was concerned about the people themselves.